latest piece of poetry where I start talking about things. I told everyone the truth. I've never really had an older brother, but as I get older and older, I'm feeling more and more like I barely even want male friends. It's true what I said. If I woke up one day and all my friends were women, not one boy amongst them, I wouldn't even bat an eye. I don't like men. The boys I like are few and far between. I don't need to belong to boys' club. Boys these days have been rotten. Really, almost completely. Boys' club, where I would hang out on the internet, like down in IRC's Anime Bytes server. Boys turned into Nuke Portland, rural America's best America, only rural. It turned into a strong embrace of white nationalism. I haven't gone down to 4chan in a while, and I don't even go into Enemy Bytes IRC server anymore because the boys who suck, right, are the only ones who seem to congregate on the fucking IRC server. If a men's community exists on the web at this point, it's pretty much toxic. All we have is refuges like we hunted the mammoth, few and far between, a citadel against a vast sea of internet misogyny, bile, and garbage. The alt right started to try to recruit young, depressed, disaffected youth like myself. They went into mental health spaces online and poached young, depressed boys out of them, recruiting them and recruited those boys and recruited once those boys were recruited, they had a sense of community with all their fellow alt right bigots. I'm not a joiner by instinct, and somehow didn't get drafted into these new communities because I'm too much of a go-it-alone lone wolf to end up being dragged along into their shit. But critique the alt right now that they've done their vile work, and I'm attacking these boys' whole community. They'll fight me to protect it, so I'm homeless and adrift online. I don't want to belong to their communities. I don't want to join them. I don't want to be a member of the alt right, and I don't care about the social consequences and the price that I pay for it. The only people who I want the friendship of, it seems at this point, is women. And a huge part of that is because you've turned all of your internet spaces, all of your internet communities, if it's not run by a woman, have been turned into a corrupted space that is toxic as fuck. I don't like it. I like anime still, but now if I go into my Anime Bytes account, I don't even go on the IRC servers. I just download that shit and don't even bother talking to people because most of the people that I find on there are utterly fucking, toxic as well. I mean, it's an entire corrupted culture where, the internet is turning men into dirty little rotten misogynists all up and down, left and right. And these men in their resentments towards women, they gravitate towards incel communities and such on the internet, and what do those guys do? What do they encounter when they go into incels? But a bunch of fucking hateful shit. And meanwhile, my experience, I've been trying to push further and further and further into feminist discourse spaces on the internet because I'm trying to make it so that most of my circle are women. I don't care anymore. And you know what? I need to get to bed pretty soon and start getting some sleep. But I mean, this is my lament. I've been turned adrift and homeless on the internet, where like I don't have an anime community that is a safe space from a lot of this toxicity. I don't have, you know, this nuke Portland. All the urban centers are awful. Portland is cancer, and these kind of reactions from boys, and the misogyny and the hatred that's dumped on women, and the way that most of these spaces are filled with guys that only want to fucking talk about new and emerging technology, which is okay some of the time, but most of the time I want to talk about the way I feel and emotions, but I can't do that because all they fucking want to talk about, and the only thing they have fucking sympathy for, is fucking technology. It's tech, 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 tech all the fucking time, and nothing ever of fucking substance or interest. So I zonk out. I don't want to fucking be part of it if that's all they fucking want to talk about. I mean, Jesus Christ, I feel like I have nowhere to go online anymore. I have no spaces whatsoever, and if I dare criticize any of these fucking groups of people, like these alt-right fucking chud men, they'll come after me because that's their whole community. You men these days, if they're online at all, are for the most part, pushing further and further into incel fucking communities, and it's like, meanwhile, what have I done? I've spent most of my time doing things like reading women's rights news. I mean, like, I don't. I'm having trouble. I feel like I don't belong to the boys club anymore, and yet it's a lot of work trying to get women to accept me into their communities. I just need somewhere to go where I can talk about things and the way that I feel and get away from, the fact that even my hobby communities have been taken over by a shit ton of toxic behavior.